Mathangi ji, you can start now.
Shubha Sandhya. Shrikanto Matulo Yasya Janani Sarvamangala Janakaha Shankaro Devaha Tam Vande Kunjarananam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Samskritavani Karyakramasya Sarvesham Hardikam Swagatam. Bhakti Geetanam Gayanam Asman Devena Saha Sambandham Karoti. Adya Srimati Haritha Muruganath Prarthana Geetam Gayigi. Music instructor by profession, MSc Counseling Psychology graduate. She has learnt music from Srimati Vijayalakshmi for 4 years and from Srimati Nandini Shriram for 1 year. Trained at TV Gopalakrishnan Academy, completed voice culture test level 1, training kids and adults. My music teacher also, Swagatam Haritha.
நமஸ்காரம் எல்லாருக்கும். கேக்குதா என்னோட வாய்ஸ்?
Yes, ma.
ஆதிதேவ மகாதேவ ஹே தயாநிதே. ஆதிதேவ மகாதேவ ஹே தயாநிதே. नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे. नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे. आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे. नमस्तेस्तु विश्वेश्वर त्र्यम्बकेश गंगाधर. नमस्तेस्तु विश्वेश्वर त्र्यम्बकेश नन्दिकेश बालचन्द्र हे पशुपते. नन्दिकेश बालचन्द्र हे पशुपते. आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे. नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे. नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे. आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे. कृपा करो दुःख हरो हर्ष बरो हे शंकर. कृपा करो दुःख हरो हर्ष बरो हे शंकर. हृदय कंद सदा बसो हे शिव करुणानिधे. हृदय कंद सदा बसो हे शिव करुणानिधे. आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे. नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे. नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे. आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे. नंदी.
Such a beautiful rendition, Haritha, as usual, always. So sweet, ma. Namakkellam appanaga irukkira Parameshwaran. You had invited Lord Shiva to make the program so smooth. Thank you so much, Haritha. Excellent. Thank you so much. Subhashitam dharmam satyam sa upadishati. Shri Ramakrishna Mahodaya, a great war veteran and disciple of Shri Omkarananda, will be presenting today Subhashitam. Swagatam Mahodaya.
Namaskaraha. Today's Subhashitam is about Dharma. Not the present day Dharma. It is actually Ramaraja Dharma. And to the extent possible, we should follow the present Dharma and the emergency Dharma to our own satisfaction and for the welfare of the society we are living in. Dharana Dharma Ityahuhu Dharmo Dharayati Prajaha Yasya Dharana Samyuktaha Sadharma iti Nischayaha. Dharana Dharma Ityahuhu Dharmo Dharayati Prajaha Yasya Dharana Samyuktaha Sadharma iti Nischayaha. Dharma means moral code of principle for the society to live happily. That which holds together and unites the society and removes the separation ideas is called Dharma. That which has the ability to uphold the society together and the entire society will be benefited. If such a principle can be followed in the society, it is for the welfare of all concerned. That Dharma can certainly be called Dharma in the real sense. All of us know about Ramayana, but there is one incident that supports this Subhashitam, which may not be known to all of you, and I would like to state that too. Rama has been in the exile. After 14 years, he returned to the kingdom and assumed the throne. And as a first instant, as a welfare king, he called the ministers to assemble the Sabha. The first question he asked was, what was the status of the treasury? Like present day government, nothing is left behind. In that, after the 14 years of his exile, the minister, finance minister said, it is almost empty. We do not have funds to carry out the welfare activities of the people. Then he asked, Bharata is such a nice person. He knows what is Dharma. Did he not know this, that treasury is to be maintained? And the minister said, no, Maharaj, Prabhu, he was not at all interested in the throne or the royal life, luxurious life. He is always chanting Ramanama, and in the service of Rama, he lives the life of a saint. Therefore, he did not collect any taxes for the past 14 years. Then he asked the honorable ministers how to solve this problem. Unless the treasury is to some extent filled, the welfare measures cannot be made. The roads cannot be made, trades cannot be running smoothly, agriculture cannot run, hospitals and the welfare activities. Now it is necessary that we should recoup to the extent possible. He called for the suggestions from the ministers. Lakshmana said, Prabhu, I would like to say one thing. 14 years these people have not paid taxes. Therefore, I would say a large size of pumpkin will be placed in the balance and people should pay tax equivalent to the weight of that pumpkin. Then all were wondering how everybody should pay the same amount of tax. Some are small business, some are big business. Then how it could be? Then whole night he was thinking what to do. Then the next morning, accompanied by Hanuman, he went to the temple of Dharma Devata. There he prayed. Dharma Devata appeared in front of them. And he asked, Rama never was interested in putting the Prabhu into inconvenience. He was always dharmic chintana he had. So therefore he asked Dharma Devata, will it be possible for every citizen to pay pumpkin weight equivalent of gold? Dharma Devata said, don't worry, I will take care of the proceedings, you proceed. Then he called the drummer. Those days we used to say that Para, Maharaja, Para, this is the information, like that. We don't have a WhatsApp or those days. So the information was through drummer passed on to the entire village and the city, that every citizen should pay tax equivalent to the weight of the pumpkin. Then to know the feedback, whether people are supporting him or anyone is opposing that, he took a decision in the form, in a disguise. He traveled through all the streets of the villages and cities, and people were talking, Rama is really magnanimous. We have had sufficient profits during these 14 years. No one has collected anything. Bharata did not enforce any tax. Therefore, we have huge amount of profit lying. So the quantity of gold equivalent to the pumpkin will be very less. Actually, our profit is almost the weight of an elephant. So people were happy, no one was opposed. So in the center of the city, the ministers have installed a weighing machine. Like 1st of March or 31st of July, and in the present day, 30th of September, tax has to be paid. People assembled the following day. They were all standing in queue with their big bags and sacks full of gold. So one by one, they started placing gold, and the balance was tilting to the equilibrium. Some people placed very little, some to some reasonable quantity, some people have to place lot of amount of gold. Then only that needle came to the equilibrium. Then finally one man came, a greedy man. He thought, there was no accounts maintained. There was no ITR. There was no Chatragupta. There was no minister asking for the quantity of the profit we have made during the 14 years. Why should I pay so much? Let me pay less, because some people have paid very less. I'll also pay very less. Thinking so, he thought he can cheat the government and placed gold. He went on placing gold after gold, jewels and diamonds and whatnot, until he emptied his entire big bag. The needle did not turn. Then finally, it came to the equilibrium. That night, this was the procedure. Tax has been collected, and after everyone has dispersed, Rama asked, what is the secret of this balance? For some people, it is giving only 1 kg, for some people 2 kg, for some people 10 kg, and for this man, the entire full bag of 50 kg has been placed. What is the secret behind that? Then Hanuman came out and told, Maharaj, Prabhu, you know, we have had the darshan of Dharma Devata. She told that she will take care of the proceedings, and according to her sign, she used to have shown, according to that sign, I tilted the balance. So some people are large business, some people are small businessmen, and this man has made a very huge profit. Therefore, according to the profit they have made, the balance I have tilted as per the directions of the Dharma Devata. So he was very happy. Even then he went that night and again prayed to the Dharma Devata whether it was the action was in consonance with Dharma. Dharma Devata said, yes, everything is went all right. There is nothing to worry. People are happy. This is how the Ramarajya should be carried in all the times to come. I think this story supports the Subhashita that I have explained. Thank you so much.
Such a wonderful message, Mahodaya. Of course, when we think about the current pressure happenings, we feel sorry, but we feel bad also. But you are a treasure to Samskrita Vani, no doubt about that. You bring up with such wonderful messages, and you are saying about that pumpkin. Nowadays, if that pumpkin was placed, that pumpkin itself would have gone. No, that is the situation now. Nobody will keep that pumpkin. Also, they would have taken that. But anyhow, we had not heard this before, and thank you, Mahodaya. Dhanyawadaha. Thank you so much. Wonderful message. I'm very happy to announce one thing. Shrimati Visali ji has been honored with Shaiva Kula Deepika Award by Dharmaburi Adinam at an event held at Pillarpatti. We are very proud of you, Visali ji. The award has been presented to her for her senseless effort to promote Sanatana Dharma, Ulaga Hindu Samaya Anmiga Kalachara Mayam, operating at London under the patronage of Adinams, has awarded this title to Srimati Visali ji. It is like, no, we are very happy that a member from our family member is getting the award, and very happy, Visali ji, for you. Swagatam, Visali ji, for Sambodhanam Prastut.
Thank you so much, Mahodaya. Sarvebhyah Namaskaraha. Adyatanam Samskrita Vani Karyakrame Sarvebhyah Swagatam. Adyatanam Srimati Mathangi Mahodaya Sanchali Rupena Asti. Swagatam Mata. Srimati Haritha Muruganath Api Swagatam Asmi. Ya Tadiye Sundara Prarthana Geetam Geetavati. Swagatam Shri Ramakrishna Mahodaya. Ya Subhashitam Ityasya Madhyamen Asman Sundaram Sandesham Adata. Shrima Sushrutha Mahodayasya Swagatam Yaha Pratimasam Bhagavad Gita Yaha Sundara Vakyam Karoti. Shloka Prartham Kumari Swetha Venkataraman Vakya Swagatam. Swagatam Shri Abhinav Kidambi Mahodaya Ya Narasimha Puranam Kathayitu Gachati. Asmakam Visesha Atiti Dr. Jayashree Saranathan Mahodayasya Hardik Swagatam. Dhanyavad Madhanartham Srimati Geetha Muthuswamy Mahodaya Swagatam Karami. Shanthi Mantraya Swagatam Shri Sivakumar Mahodaya. Adyatanam Karyakrame Punaha Sarvesham Swagatam Karami.
Dhanyawadaha, Visali ji. Thank you, ma. Dr. Sushrutha Mahodaya Bhagavad Gita Mulyani Prastutam Karishyati. Dr. Sushrutha is an assistant professor at Amrita University, Coimbatore. He has done PhD in Yoga and Yajna. Swagata Mahodaya.
Namasarvebhyah. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Padhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandadhami Bhagavad-gite Bhavadveshinim. Sarvebhyah api punah swagatam. Yada vayam etam shlokam dhyana shlokam pathamaha antimam vakyam bahu sundaram asti. Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad-gite Bhavadveshinim. Bhava is the mundane world that we are all living. So, who is capable seizing all the problems of mundane world? That is what is Bhavadvesha. Dvesha is generally it is known to be an enemy. But yes, even in this context, Bhagavad Gita can lead us to cross over all the bhava, dukkha, bhava rodhana. Therefore, we try understanding Bhagavad Gita. It has obviously its own flavor to convey the message in its own way. And we are dealing some shlokas. We are not covering all the shlokas because it takes a very long time. And fortunately, we have Visali Krishnaji also receiving Shiva Bhakta award for all the contributions she is providing to the gamut of who are really bhaktas. To be a bhakta, one has to be controlling ego. Otherwise, bhakti is not possible. Bhakti is only possible when we think there is somebody beyond us, one who can, bless, wish good for us. Then only that bhakti is possible. Otherwise, we do bhajan, we do kirtanam, we do lot of other things. So, in order to be a true bhakta or bhakta, keeping a check on ego is what is very, very fundamental. That what I observed. And for definite reasons, Vishaliji has been identified as one of the bhaktas. So we are all happy to receive that news. Dhanyawada Mata. And going forward in the 7th chapter, this is one of the points we are going to deal. He says, Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi Mamamaya Duratyaya. This Prakriti that we are all built along with. By default, we have this Prakriti and Purusha from Sankhya perspective. That which doesn't change in us is what is Purusha, and which keeps changing in all of us is part of Prakriti. This is very fundamental understanding from Sankhya perspective. But there, when we look at that segment in Vedanta, people have been identified and categorized under 4 different baskets. One is Jnani, the other one is Bhakta, the other one is Artha, then the other one is actually Artharthi. Okay, Chaturvidhaha bhajante mam janaha sukritina arjuna. Arto jignasuhu artharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha. See, the wordings of Krishna is very, very particular. He doesn't say somebody earning more money out of building connection with the God, so-called God idea. Okay, we have the movie, okay, very recent movie that is called, OMG. Right? In OMG movie, Oh My God, the very theme is some businessman associated with the God is trying to get profit, and God's action is not insured with the policy. Then he goes to the court, and finally the court has to give the verdict of you have to pay. However, the whole episode of that story goes along with that someone who is connected with the God or doing business in the name of God also is secured. This is very interesting part. See? So, artaha jignasuhu artharthi jnani ja bharatarshabha. There are 4 types of people, either directly or indirectly connected with Deva, connected with that Brahma, connected with Devata concept, very Devata concept. Okay. So, Artha is someone who is experiencing pain in one's life. So there were many arthas. Okay, most of the bhaktas in our tradition are arthas, because what is the kind of pain that they are experiencing to see the God once and get rid of all the problems, get rid of all the pains that they have been. For example, Tulsidas. Okay, or all the in a Shiva parampara, all the bhaktas are actually longing and waiting for the darshanam. In fact, this is more and more visible and evident in Sri Vaishnava parampara. Okay, for them, Bhauma Vaikuntha is all the 3 rangas, Sri Rangam and Sri Ranga Pattanam here, and all the Tirtha Kshetras. Okay, and there is a specific name for that. No, it's called some kshetra. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting that that phrase behind they use the word kshetra. Okay, Shri Kshetra. There is some word for that.
I think some network issue.
Unmute. Namaste. Was he referring to the Gita? Yes. Okay. Sorry, I was disconnected. There was human intervention, technological intervention. So I'm just trying. So yes, there was somebody. Geeta ji has indicated. It's called Divya Desham. Okay. All the Vishnu's avatara, wherever the Vishnu's avatara has happened, it's called Divya Desham. So Divya Desham for Sri Vaishnavas, they just do not enjoy, but they also have that deeper emotional connection with that devata. It's very, I do not feel, because my ego is, I can observe myself. My ego is not letting me to experience the way some Shri Vaishnavas, some Vaishnava, Shaivas experience really. There is a tear in their eyes and see, actually happening. There is one video of even the foreigners visiting Vrindavana. Okay, when Vrindavana Vishnu Gita is being played, they just cry. I don't know how it comes, because I don't experience that. Okay, only when you have such kind of bhakti within you, you can see in others as well. When there is a statement in Samskritam, Vidwaneva Vijanati Vidvajjana Parishramam. Okay, only Vidwan can identify the effort and all the pain that one takes to understand the concept. Similarly, only a true bhakta can experience and feel the other bhaktas as well. Okay, so I feel pity about oneself for not having that kind of very strong emotion to any devata. In fact, I do all kinds of japa and all the things are okay, but to achieve that kind of state with a personality is blessings in the life. So that is artaha jignasuhu. The second category, second basket of people connected with Bhagavan is jignasu. Jignasu is jnatum ichha jignasa. Someone who is aspirant to understand. Host has stopped your video. Oh, somebody has stopped my video. You cannot start your video
Yeah, Dr.
because it is
Sushrutha,
disabled by
it
the
seems
host.
that your bandwidth is low, so
Okay.
you can go
Somehow
without the video.
my video is not visible.
No, you
That
can
is okay,
you
but
can
so
go on
long
without
I am
video.
audible, we will continue. So, yes, no problem. Yes, it seems my bandwidth is low. We will assume Krishna and we will continue our discussion. So, artaha jignasuhu. Jignasu is one who is willing to know, one who is inquisitive about knowing that Bhagavat Tattva. He or she is called jignasu or jignasu. Okay, so artaha jignasu artharthi. Artha is actually the wealth. Artha is the currency. Artha is something which can manifest all your desires into material. That is what is artha. In fact, I was also discussing elsewhere. We have dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So some people mean artha only with the money. No, artha is anything that can convert your wishes into material, wishes into realization. For example, many people, the power itself is artha, meaning when they are in power, they can make everything possible. For others, values are their artha, meaning they can convert their desires into materialization using their value system. So anything that is available at your disposal, you have gained it by all your effort and the lifestyle, that actually can work as currency for all your desires to manifest. That is what is called artha. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Here, artharthi is someone who is wishing and willing, who is longing for getting that artha in one's life. Maybe money, maybe gold, maybe some benefit, maybe wealth, maybe in anything. That doesn't matter. But however, the person is connected with Devata in order to get money, it doesn't matter. That connection is what is important. That's what Krishna says. Chaturvidha bhajante mam janaha sukritinaha Arjuna. He says not dushkritinaha, he says sukritinaha. All kinds of people who are connected with me, even with the interest of money, it doesn't matter, they are connected with me. Okay, so but last one is someone who is very unique. Jnani cha Bharatarshapha, Jnani. Okay, and then he says, चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जनाः सुकृतिनः अर्जुन आर्तः जिज्ञासुः अर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ. And then in the next shloka he says, तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्तः. Tesham Jnani Nityoktaha. Amongst all four kinds of people, the Jnani is the one who is ever connected with me. Okay, all the others also have connection, but they have discontinued connection, meaning they will get connection. So far, their money is getting through Devata, they will, they are connected. So long their pain is getting rid of, they are connected with Devata. So long their interest of knowing something, they are connected with Devata. But Jnani is the one who is ever connected with Devata. Therefore, he says, he is standing out. Jnani is the one who is standing out amongst all these who are connected with Bhagavad Tattva. So, Tesham Jnani Nityayuktaha. Okay. Namam, okay, next. Tesham Jnani Nityayuktaha Eka Bhaktihi Vishishyate Priyo Hi Jnaninaha Atyartham Aham Sacha Mama Priyaha. I like that kind of Jnani, and Jnani also similarly likes me. So it is a mutual connection. In fact, Jnani and Bhagavad Tattva are not different. Okay, Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati is the what is Vedantic fundamental theory, where Brahmavit, one who knows Brahma, Brahma eva bhavati, one becomes Brahma. So, between Jnani and Brahma Tattva, there is no difference. Therefore, he says, these two are well connected all the time. Others have connection, but whenever there is a necessity. So, even in science, we have necessity is the mother of invention. So, here, necessity is the mother of the connection with Bhagavad Tattva. Therefore, for the others it is the necessity, for Jnani it is by the nature, by default itself. So, with this, we will conclude today's discussion about Bhagavad Gita. We will meet in the next, Samskrita Vani program. Namaste, Dhanyavadah.
Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya. The very first beginning, the definition for Bhakta you told was excellent. And Pratimasam, I always personally feel we do get little knowledge through you. Definitely, all of us will admit to that. A little knowledge we gain through you. And you make us to get connected with God. Definitely, no
Blessed.
doubt about that.
Yes.
Thank you, Mahodaya, really, because we will not read all this. We will not sit and read all this. If someone says like this so clearly, that is what very important. All the people should understand what the speaker is trying to say. At least a little we need to understand. And always your lecture was always clear and crystal. Dhanyavadaha, Sushrutha. Thank you so much. Shri Abhinav Kidambi Mahodaya will continue the series Narasimha Purana. Abhinavji is mastered in M.Tech Medical Nanotechnology, had completed MA Sanskrit, currently pursuing PhD. Mahodaya teaches Sanskrit, Yoga Shastra, Indian philosophy, Indian culture and heritage, practitioner of Yoga Shastra. Swagatam Abhinavji.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste. Welcome back to this Narasimha Purana session, which is continuing like a mega serial. In the previous session, we briefly saw the Vamshavali of the Surya Vamsha. Today, we will try to keep it to the Chandra Vamsha. Chandra Vamsha, you probably know, is what is seen in the Mahabharata. Surya Vamsha is what is seen in the Ramayana. So I will request access to share my screen so that I can show you the image I have prepared for sharing today. Just one moment. Yes. So in the 23rd chapter of the Narasimha Purana, we see the Chandravamsha being described. First we see Brahmadeva being the source for everything. From Brahmadeva, we see Marichi. Marichi and Dakshayani give birth to Kashyapa. Kashyapa and Aditi give birth to Aditya. You probably have some idea about Kashyapa Prajapati. And you see the word Aditi, who is supposed to be the mother of the Devas. That is why the children are called Aditeyas. And the other wife is Diti of Kashyapa. They are called Daityas. The children of Diti and Kashyapa are called Daityas. But anyway, Kashyapa and Aditi give birth to Aditya, one of the several children. Aditya marries Suvarchala. Suvarchala is one of the two wives. The other wife is Chaya. We've seen that before. Aditya and Suvarchala give birth to Manu. Manu marries Surupa and one of the wives, and they gave birth to Soma. Soma referring to Chandra. Chandra married many wives, but one of his wives is called Rohini. Both of them give birth to Buddha. So I'm not going into the detailed analysis of how Soma and Rohini met. All that you may have heard earlier in some other context. It does not go there. If it is part of the Narasimha Purana, we will try to explore it here. Buddha, of course, Soma is supposed to be one of the Navagrahas. Buddha is also one of the Navagrahas. Rohini is one of the Nakshatras. Buddha married or Buddha gave birth to somebody by being with Ila. Ila and Buddha gave birth to Pururava. Pururava, here the consort is not mentioned. So that is, the wife is not mentioned directly in the Narasimha Purana, in the Vamshavali. Pururava gives birth to Ayuhu. Ayu and Rupavati give birth to Nahusha. If you have paid attention to some of these Purana sessions anywhere else, you may have come across the word Nahusha. Nahusha is supposed to have been an extremely valiant king. So you can read about him later. Nahusha and Pitruvati, they give birth to Yayati. Maybe Yayati also is a name you are familiar with. If you have heard a little bit of Bhagavata Purana, you know Yayati's backstory. And Yayati married Sharmishtha. He had two wives. One of them is called Sharmishtha. They gave birth to Puru. Puru and Vamshada give birth to Sampati. This Sampati is not to be confused with the Sampati from Ramayana. In Ramayana, Sampati is supposed to be the brother of Jatayu. So Sampati is the one who is helping Vanaras to find the direction of Lanka. Right? If you remember properly, that is Sampati. Sampati has been seen even in the Mahabharata. Seems like a common name of those days. Sampati and Bhanudatta give birth to Sarvabhauma. Sarvabhauma and Vaidehi give birth to Bhoja. Vaidehi not to be confused with the concept of Vaidehi from Ramayana. Bhoja not to be confused with Bhoja Maharaja, who we know of in the Samskrita Sahitya. Bhoja and Linga give birth to Dushyanta. Now you know a name which is very familiar to you. Abhijnana Shakuntalam, already there. You have Kalidasa writing so beautifully about Dushyanta and Shakuntala. So Dushyanta and Shakuntala gave birth to Bharata. So Tharvadamana Bharata, we know that name. Bharata and Nanda give birth to Ajamida. Ajamida marries Sudevi and they give birth to Prishni. Prishni and Agrasena give birth to somebody called Prasara. Prasara and Bahurupa give birth to someone. Until here, we do not have very familiar names who we know of very nicely. Suddenly, we see the name Shantanu. So, if you are aware of Shantanu, Shantanu is the one who gives birth to the ancestors of the Kauravas and the Pandavas. So, we see Shantanu. And here, very interestingly, instead of giving the name Matsyavati or, Satyavati or Matsyagandha, the name given here is Yojana Gandha in the Narasimha Purana. A very interesting change in the nomenclature. Shantanu and Yojana Gandha. Gandha remains the same. Gandha referring to smell. Yojana, so it seems like there is some kind of a bridging or some kind of a mixing. Perhaps that is what they are trying to say. Perhaps Satyavati, who was up until then just a fisherwoman, now joining the royal lineage. Perhaps that is what is being indicated here. That is why the word Yojana Gandha is used. We do not know. Shantanu and Yojana Gandhar, at least according to this, they say Vichitra Virya is the son. We know that there was another name also. There was another son that they had, and of them, the first one died. Right? Chitrangada and Vichitra Virya. Chitrangada dies, Vichitra Virya survives, and Vichitra Virya has this Bhishma as the elder brother. That is, Shantanu had many children prior to getting married to Satyavati, and that was with Ganga, Ma Ganga. And the last surviving child was Devavrata, who was called Bhishma eventually. Bhishma goes and kidnaps three Kashi princesses, Amba, Ambika, Ambalika, right? Of which Vichitra Virya marries Ambika to give birth to Pandu. Of course, we know, if we have listened to the Mahabharata Katha properly, we know that Vichitra Virya is not able to, as in, he dies before giving birth to a child, and therefore we see Vyasa coming in, that is Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa being brought by Satyavati, and through these three people, or at least not Amba, Ambika, Ambalika, not all three of them, two of these princesses and one servant maid, we have three different sons being born. That is Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. So there only Pandu is mentioned here. Pandu and Kunti Devi. Kunti is used very interestingly instead of saying Kunti. So these are all small minor variants that we find in spellings. The Pandu's other wife is not mentioned in this Chandra Vamshavali. Anyway, the third son, which who is born to Pandu and Kunti alone, is mentioned. Arjuna alone is mentioned here. The other two sons are not mentioned. Perhaps it is to refer to whose lineage continues in the royal lineage. So Arjuna and Subhadra. So they could have said Draupadi. They could have said the other people, like Ulupi was there. Then there were other wives that Arjuna had, but only the progeny born through Subhadra continued the lineage. So Abhimanyu was the only one who continued, right? So Abhimanyu alone is mentioned. Abhimanyu and Uttara. See, Uttara is someone who we come across during one specific section in the Mahabharata where they go undercover. They go undercover, and there is Ajñātavāsa. When they're doing Ajñātavāsa, the princess there is called Uttara. That Uttara is eventually given in marriage to Abhimanyu. And they give birth to Parikshita. So Parikshita, you may have come across again, there are certain narrations where Parikshita was protected by Krishna's grace. Because of him only, Parikshita escaped from the Brahmastra. All that is there. Anyway, now we see that they gave birth to Janamejaya. So if you know Janamejaya, you know that he performed the yaga to destroy all the sarpas. Janamejaya Punyavati gave birth to Shatanika. Shatanika Pushpavati gave birth to Sahasranika. Sahasranika and Brigavati gave birth to Udayana. Very interesting name. Udayana and Vasavadatta, not to be confused with Swapna Vasavadatta, that Sahitya Grantha there. Udayana and Vasavadatta gave birth to Naravahana. Naravahana and Ashwamedha, not to be confused with the Yajna itself. They gave birth to a person by the name of Kshemaka. So this is the royal lineage given to us in the Narasimha Purana's 23rd chapter. With that, I close today's session. Thank you. Namaste.
Excellent, Abhinavji. That flowchart was very clear. If you can share to Visali, if it is okay, please share to Visali. As you said, we know few names, but today it was very clear, very clear. And thank you so much for revisiting all the incidents. You gave it in a very short way, but still we were able to understand. Dhanyavadaha. Thank you so much. श्लोकजपेन अस्माकं देवविक्षेपस्य दृढः संयोगः विकसति भवति. Shweta, Kumari Shweta, disciple of Srimati Uma Ravichandran and Srimati Ratipriya, had participated in many music competitions and won prizes, performed in Shankara TV, pursuing BCom at Shastra University. She'll be reciting Apeetha Kuchambal Sthavam. Swagatam, Shweta.
Namaskaram. आनंद सिंधु लहरीं अमृतां सुमौलेः आसेविनाम् अमृतनिर्मितवर्तिमक्ष्णोः आनन्दवल्लिविततेः अमृताद्रगुच्छम् अम्बा स्मराम्यहमपीतकुचे वपुस्ते निर्निद्रकोकनदकोमलकान्तमम्बा नित्यं सुधानिकरवर्षिपदं त्वदीयम् मूर्छाकरज्वररुजा ममतापितस्य मूर्ध्रेक्षणं सकृदपीतकुचे निधेहि शीतांशुकोटिसुषमा शिशिरैर्कटाक्षैः अव्याजभूतकरुणारसपूरपूर्णैः कर्पूरधूलिमिव दिक्षु समाकिरद्भिः अम्बक्षणं स्नपय माम् अरुणाद्रिमान्ये आविर्भवक्षणमपीतकुचे पुरस्तात् अम्बज्वरेण महता ममतापितस्य येन त्वदङ्घ्रिरुचिजालसुधा प्रवाहे मग्नस्तदैव तनुतापममुं त्यजेयम् नानाविधैर्नलिनजातलिपिप्रक्लिर्तिः आनीतमूर्छमधिकं शुभितैरुज्वराद्यैः आश्वासय क्षणमपीतकुचे कराग्र क्रीडा कनकहल्लकसौरभेण कण्ठे विषमुचो भुजगाः कपर्दे पार्श्वे च भूतपतयः प्रमथास्य भीमाः शोणाचलेशमुपसृत्य भजेत को वा न स्यात् तवाम्ब सविधे यदि सन्निधानम् न स्यात् तवाम्ब सविधे यदि सन्निधानम् शक्तिर्जगज्जनन पालन भञ्जनेषु भोगेषु दिव्यमहिषी तरुणेन्दुमौलेः सिद्धिकर प्रणयिनि तव सन्निधानम् यन्नासि तस्य तदपीतकुचे न जाने त्वं साक्षिणी प्रलय भैरवताण्डवानां त्वं शेषिनी सहरिधातृचराचराणां त्वं मोचिनी सकल संसृतिजालकानां त्वं ब्रह्म संविदमपीतकुचे नमामि त्वां ब्रह्म संविदमपीतकुचे नमामि त्वां ब्रह्म संविदमपीतकुचे नमामि.
Oh, Swetha. Appai Dikshidhar composition. I think you frequently come with Appai Dikshidhar shlokas and very happy for you, Swetha. This shloka, like it is good for mothers who are feeding, who feed the children. The secretion of milk and Apeetha Kuchambal associated with Arunachaleshwara. Very, very happy for you to bring, you're bringing shlokas like this, and great pranams to your guru. Superb rendition, ma. Thank you, Kanna. Asmakam mukhya atithim swagatam krutva vayam bahu prasannaha smaha. Dr. Jayashree Saranathan holds PhD in astrology, extremely wide knowledge in economics, history, and business administration, has a certificate course in epigraphy, study of ancient inscriptions. Her research area includes Indology, Tamil Sangam literature, Hindu epics, history and astrometeorology, author of several books and regularly contributes to various publications like P. Guru's India Facts, Organizers and Vijayavani. Mata has a blog and a YouTube channel where she discusses her research. Mata will be presenting speech on Yuga cycle and time calculation. Swagatam Mata. Welcome. Ma.
Namaste. At the very outset, I would like to share my PPT slides. Okay. Namaskaram to everybody. The reason that I am starting this straight away with my slides is to save time, because it's such a big topic. It's very difficult to confine everything within just half an hour or 40 minutes. So I have taken up this topic as time and yuga. Starting from time, then only this yuga concept comes up. What is the time? Whether we are really aware of the time that we are following. So this one, I will start from Panchanga. We all know that Panchanga, the Panchanga features such as Vara and then Tithi. And the Tithi, that is a small introduction about these things. Vara is your weekday. This Panchanga contains a weekday, and then Tithi is a 12-degree distance. That means once the sun and the moon have joined, they start moving away from each other. That is after Amavasya. Both of them will be moving. Sun will be moving at the rate of 1 degree a day, and the moon will be moving at the rate of some 12 to 13 degrees a day. So as they were moving together, when they reach a distance of 12 degrees, we call it as a Tithi, right? And then nakshatra. The nakshatra has a specific duration of time, like 13 degrees and 20 minutes. That is, it's just fixed. We say nakshatra means Ashwini, Bharani. These are all the particular, that is, we have named the span of the sky by a particular star's name. That's all. When we say Ashwini, that means it has a 13 degree and 20 minutes span. So when the moon enters into that span, we say that is a nakshatra of the day. And then yoga. Yoga means both the sun's latitude, that is how much the sun has traveled in a day and how much the moon has traveled in a day together, when put together, that's known as yoga. And then karana. Karana is 6 degrees, which is half of Tithi. See, these things, I don't want to elaborate on these things. These are the basic features within a day, which we use for our time calculation. But in fact, these are part of what is called Ashtanga. That is 8 angas of time are there. And since the 5 angas, that is for the Vara, Tithi and all these, we are using them on a daily basis. You want to know what nakshatra today, what the Tithi today. Since we are using this, we say just Panchanga. Whereas in Ashtanga, there is Yuga, then the year name, Vishwavasu, and then the month. These are all a very larger denomination. That is why we don't talk about them in everyday life. But in any Panchanga book, you will find all these. For example, Yuga is Kali Yuga. And then the year, the current year is Vishwavasu. And month, here there is one confusion among people, whether it is solar month or lunar month. And there are people saying that we follow luni solar month. But in fact, in our text, when they say month, it refers to the solar month only. Because the sun is the cause of time. Because of the sun only, everything exists. So the month always refers to the solar month. And just a brief of it I'm giving here. Initially, the months were known as Madhu, Madhava, and then Shukra, Sushi, like that. For example, in Janamejaya's inscription, the month is mentioned as Sahasya Masa, that is Makara Masa. So until some 5,000 years ago, our ancestors were using the first column, this Vedic names only. Later on, the other names, that is the equivalent names, Mesha, Rishabha was introduced. And sometimes the deities, the presiding deities of those months are being mentioned instead of saying the month. Like in Ramayana, you find Rama's birth star is not given. Instead, Aditi is given. That is the deity, the ruling deity of the star. So in this way only they have used. You may ask then, what about the lunar months? Lunar months are in use only with reference to tithis. In Panchanga, we have seen only with reference to tithis, whether it is a Shukla Paksha Tithi or the Krishna Paksha Tithi like that. But in course of time, people have started in certain areas, they started using only the lunar. But basically, when you go through the text or how it was evolved, they followed only the solar months. Now, the importance of this solar month is that it just goes round like this. That is, it is only the earth going round the sun. That is, this is the orbit of the earth, but actually we are seeing the sun moving. The sun moves at the rate of 1 degree a day. So since this is a circle, it takes 360 degrees. That is why a solar year is always given as 360 days. If you you would have been wondering, like when you look at the olden text, sometimes they would have used this 360 days only. So in that context, you can immediately remember that it is about the solar year, the sun's movement. And this sun's movement is the basic of the Yuga, particularly the Kali Yuga. For us, a year consists of 366 days or 365 days, 365.4 days. But in the case of solar year, solar sun, these are all the Aditya, the third column you see here, the sun is a deity. The sun as a deity, when you're looking at it as a deity, it just goes around in the universe, and that it takes 360 days to complete one circle. So that is the basic unit. And that we have to remember, because as we go further in this talk, you will be knowing about the importance of it. Now we are coming to this topic as Yuga. What is this Yuga? Yuga means twin or pair, Yugma. It comes from the word Yugma, which means any two or a pair. For example, normally in olden days, they used to compare it with two bulls, just being tied with a yoke. That yoke is the Yuga. Yoke has many meanings, but yoke also means linking or connecting two different things or two different bulls or two different entities or being linked, and that is called Yuga. So normally Yuga means this kind of two different entities being linked. It may go up and it may come down. There may be an ascending and descending. This order, like Arohana, Avrohana, like thing, will be there in a Yuga. These are all the characteristics of a Yuga. When you look at a Yuga, it should be there. Whereas Yuga also means eon or epoch. So in this, it's a continuing long period. There is no break or there is no connection as such between two entities. It's just a single entity. It's going on forever. So this is an epoch. For example, I say Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga has 4,32,000 years. There is no variation between this year and the next year or the year after. So it's a continuously continuing long period where if you are looking for any ascending or descending order, there is no such thing. Even though in later texts like Aryabhatiya, they mention Sarpani and Avasarpani. In effect, it doesn't make any sense. It's just going on forever. There is no going up and going down or going in one way or another way, nothing like that. And this kind of Yuga, it could be both a pair or it can be an epoch. Both are possible. These are of three types. And these three types, so one by one, we are going to see here. The first one is a Yuga. In this, I'm showing the sun and the moon. These are the basic deciders of our time during day and night. Without sun and the moon, we cannot have the time. So these two are being yoked together. How they are being yoked together? When they start the journey, for example, from Amavasya, always the journey starts after conjunction. That's why it is mostly Amanta type, only not Purnimanta. People used to confuse, whether to start it from the Paurnami, whether to start the year from the Paurnami or from Amavasya. As per the theory, Yuga means just they do go together. So the sun and the moon, when they go together and then they start moving in different speeds. The sun completes 1 month or just 30 degrees in 30 days. But within that period, the moon completes in 31 days. That is, it goes beyond that. When sun is just 30 degrees, then it goes into 31 degrees or 1 day extra. So because of this, there is a kind of variation. They are not going in uniform speed. So what happens? I'm showing you here a kind of a circle. In the circle, here I am showing this mark here when they are together, when the sun and the moon are together. So what happened after 1 month? That is in 30 days. The sun will be here, but the moon would have overshot by 1 day extra. In 2 months, 2 days, 3 months, 3 days. Like this, it will just go on and it finishes 1 year. That is 12 months. In 12 months, the moon would have crossed, that is, the moon would have exceeded by 12 days. And once again, another year, the second year, 24 months. In 24 months, once again, it would have come here, but it would have gone beyond. It's not joining sun again. The point is, initially, that is on point, day 1, they joined together. Did they join together in the same point again? They didn't. So in 2 years, the moon will be, the sun would have come here, but the moon would have overshot by another extra 24 days. So what happens? And another half month only, that is 6 months only, it will be able to come here. Like 1 month, 12 days extra. 2 years, 1 year, 12 days extra. 2 years, another 12 days, 24 days, and 2.5 years, it would have come to 30 days. 30 days means 1 month. That is the Adhika Masa we are expunging. So even now, they are not joining together. So when they will join, in 2.5 years, they have not joined. So what happened? Once again, you are calculating, means the moon goes from here again, 12, another 12, that is 24, and here 30. So another 2.5 years, years only, it is coming back to the same place. So 2.5 years one side and 2.5 years another side. So only then they are coming to the same position. So overall, we have 5 years here. Only this was known as a 5-year yuga, which was used during the Vedanga period. Vedanga means Vedic period. Vedanga is one of the 6 Vedangas, is Jyotisha. In Jyotisha, this yuga only is given. Suppose if you are saying, no, we are in Kali Yuga, is it given? What is the evidence for it? Did the people of the Vedic Yuga, did they use Kali Yuga? No, they used only Vedanga. For example, take Rama in Sundarakanda. Hanuman will be telling that Rama was good at Yajurveda and he has mastered Vedanga, Jyotisha also. Vedanga, generally he says Vedangas, all the 6 Vedangas. That means he has studied the Jyotisha also. What for he studied the Jyotisha? Only this kind of Jyotisha only he would have studied. He would not have studied Kali Yuga or Dwapara Yuga or whatever. Because Vedanga Yuga is about the 5-year Yuga only. And not only in Ramas, let's start from the most recent, Krishna Avatar. In Mahabharata, the same 5-year Yuga is being talked about by Bhishma. When the Kauravas suspected that Pandavas had revealed themselves before the 13-year period. So at that time, Bhishma explains this 5-year Yuga only. He says, in first 5 years, 2 months extra. Second 5 years, 2 months extra, so 4 months. The last 3 years, 1 month plus 12 days. So in all, they have gone, stayed for 5 months and 12 days extra. So there is no way to say that they have revealed themselves before. So here, there in that context, Bhishma is explaining this Vedanga Yuga. It shows that Vedanga Yuga was followed. That is, the 5-year Yuga was followed during Mahabharata period. Then the question comes, what is the evidence for the earliest use of this 5-year Yuga? It comes in the case of Dirghadamas, the rishi without eyesight. And there is a shloka about him in Rig Veda 158.6. Dirghadama mamatayo jujurvan dashame yuge. Dirghadamas became old in the 10th Yuga. What is the 10th Yuga? We know only 4 Yugas. In current perspective, I am here in Kali Yuga, Rama was in Treta Yuga, Krishna was in Dwapara Yuga, and who is in Krita Yuga, we don't know. Okay, 4 Yugas, that's all. But here they talk about Dashami Yuga, so that shows they are talking about the 5-year Yuga. See, the first 5 years or first Yuga. A person's second 5 years, that is 6 to 10 years is the second Yuga. Okay, 11 to 15 years is the third Yuga. In this way, they have counted. So the Dashami Yuga means he was between 45 and 50. At that time, he had grown older. So this is the earliest reference for the Vedanga Yuga in use. And between them comes Rama. Dirghadamas is before Rama. and then Krishna is after Rama. So in the Ramayana Yuga also, this Vedanga Yuga of 5-year Yuga only must have been used. But though there is no direct mention of the 5-year Yuga in anywhere in the Ramayana, like in Mahabharata, there is a mention of it in the words of Bhishma. Whereas in the Ramayana, there is no direct mention of it. But anyway, in the case of the Rama's descendants, there was one Maru. That Maru did not become a king. He wanted to lead a tapasya life only. And he was engaged in meditation. But somehow people made him become a king. When, in the 19th Yuga, in Vishnu Purana and then Vayu Purana, where the lineage is given, of Rama is given, there it is mentioned that Maru became the king in the 19th Yuga. So there also they have used Vedanga Yuga only. That means he must have been some 95 plus at that time. So very late in life, he had become a king. So Krishna's time, and then Rama's descendant, and before Rama, they all have used Vedanga, and Rama knew Vedanga only. So throughout this period, at least till Mahabharata, only the 5-year Yuga was in vogue. Not only that, if you look at Arthashastra, where Kautilya had mentioned, Yuga means 5 years. So very recently, maybe until 2,500 years ago, people have used the Vedanga Yuga only. And I have to give you one pramana for that. Here in this talk, I am giving the pramana only from Srimad Bhagavatam. There are in other texts also, because all these are appearing in Puranas. Brahmanda Purana, Vayu Purana in particular, and Srimad Bhagavatam also. And in Mahabharata also, these are all appearing, and Shatapada Brahmana, many texts. Here I'm just relying on one text. I'm taking up just one text. Here, Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 11th chapter, 14th verse. It talks about the 5 years, the names of the 5 years. So we have the names of the 4 yugas, like Chaturyugas, for the Chaturyugas, Kali, Dwapara, Treta, like that. They had the names for the 5 years, that is Samvatsara, Parivatsara, Idavatsara, Anuvatsara, and Vatsara. So when they have to do, for example, in the Samvatsara, say in Samvatsara, it was like that, means you can understand that they are talking about the first year of the 5-year Yuga. Suppose there's some incident was mentioned in Vatsara, that means that is the 5th year of the 5-year Yuga. And also you can, next level of thinking, they do a Sankalpa, and they do the Vedic ritual. They will be doing the Sankalpa in the name of Samvatsari or Parivatsari, like that. Like we say, Kali Yuge Pratame Pade, they would have said only Samvatsari, not Treda Yuge or Dwapara Yuge, because only this was in vogue all those times. And another important information about this is the year starts in Uttarayana. For us today, the year starts in Mesha Rasi, when the sun enters Mesha, whereas in the Vedanga Yuga, year started in Uttarayana. And here I am giving one example of it because I have already done the Mahabharata book some 4 years or 5 years ago. And there I, based on Bhishma's calculation, whatever he has given. And also there is another, fortunately we have the book with us, the Vedanga Jyotisha book written by Lagada Maharishi. Rig Vedanga Jyotisha and Yajusha Vedanga Jyotisha are available with us. And they are giving the methods of calculation, how to count all that. And Bhishma also has given. So based on that, I created the Panchanga or the time or the Yuga of Mahabharata period. In the Samvatsara, the SH1 is a Shukla Pratipatta. The first Tithi, usually that is the 7th Tithi will be the first Tithi of the next Ayana. The 7th Tithi will be the next Ayana, next like that. And in the same way, the Nakshatras, the 19th Nakshatra will become the first Nakshatra of the next Ayana. In this way only they have calculated. So this gives a very clear idea about how the days have been. But in the Mahabharata, the dates changed because Uttarayana changed, because of which Bhishma had to wait for 56 days on the arrow bed. We know the story of it. So he decided to leave the world on Shukla Ashtami. So here that should have been in Parivatsara, 2nd year. So this calculation is, you will read in my book. Just for an example, I am giving that, how we are finding out. So we have the original, we create the original Vedanga Jyotisha Yuga of the time based on the Uttarayana of the time. And from that, we are able to develop the Dakshinayana, Uttarayana, the stars and the tithis of the time, and the corresponding year in Mahabharata we were able to do, and the corresponding Gregorian year also we were able to do. That the dating, these are all process of the dating, which I am not delving into. And you can, when you read my book, you will know more about it. This I am giving only as an example how it will appear. So this kind of a Vedanga Yuga calendar only was used by Rama also. So the next type of Yuga, that is the very, very commonly known Kali Yuga that we are following. I'm starting from that because that is the basic unit. Normally Kali, Dwapara, Treta, Krita, all that are numbers. Kali means 1, Dwapara means 2, Treta means 3, and then Krita means 4. Because in Mahabharata itself, during the dice game, they will be, when they are making the throws, they make, do you want Kali or Treta or Krita only, they will ask instead of the number. Here, for Kali Yuga, the basic is the solar year. I told you the 360 days of solar year. So like that, there will be 4,32,000 years. And the Kali Yuga, 10 times of that Kali Yuga is one Chaturmahayuga. This is the basic calculation of this particular Yuga. Okay, that is equal to 43,20,000 years. And the Chaturmahayuga, 1,000 times of it is a Kalpa, which is a day or night. For whom? For Brahma, the creator Brahma. That comes to this much of years. You can just reduce it into billions of years. That is 4.32 billion years. So this is a time within which the sun goes round 20 times around the galactic center. So these are all in huge numbers. It's all about the sun. Sun is a deity, and creator Brahma is a deity. And this is measured in terms of planets. We will come to that later. But before that, we'll finish this. So 1 day and 1 night, that is 4.32 plus 4.32 billion years is 1 day of Brahma. And 100 years of Brahma is this much. So in this scheme, in the second type of Yuga, we are not talking about human life. Human life is just 100 years or 120 years as per your Vimshottari Dasha. We are not talking about that. But we are talking something else. What is it? Something else. I am just exhibiting like this in this way for our understanding. See, this is the Nataraja figure. The beauty of the Nataraja figure is that it can be just divided into 4 equal parts. Like from Nataraja's right hand having the Damaru, which signifies creation, to the other hand, which is carrying Agni, which signifies dissolution or destruction, is just 90 degrees. Or quarter of the entire circle. And if you these lines are just crossing in the navel, it exactly creates 4 equal parts. And you would also know about many Vedic Pramanas like manifest, that is the God, the Brahman is manifest only 1/4. The unmanifest is 3/4. So how to represent it in a kind of illustration? This is one way of illustration I can say. So what happens here on this Damaru side? Brahma is always there. Brahma, that is the particles are moving around. Once the particles enter here, they get manifest. In the manifest world, they go and then they get destroyed when they reach this end. Once again, they are going here. You know the Nasadiya Sukta, where whether the particle, whether it knows, whether it exists or what it is, all these things are applicable in this region. Then it is coming once again up to this, and then continuously there is a stream of particles entering into this. So continuously some Brahma. Every moment, every second, a Brahma is being created, and we are all going into that. In the manifest region, Narayana or Vishnu will be there as a protector. So the creator, protector, and the destroyer. The Trimurti concept is being signified by this. And here the age, if suppose you start here, the person that the Brahma just reaches here, it takes 100 years of 100 years, which can be measured only in terms of Yuga. For example, see, when you want to measure something a shorter distance, you use centimeters, for longer distance, kilometers, like this kind of massive epoch. This is the epoch or eon, the other meaning of Yuga. For epoch or eon, which is going continuously without any differentiation, you use this kind of Yuga, and this is mainly used for measuring the age of Brahma. And the star shows where we are now. In this part, we are here. Halfway we through, and another halfway we have to go. And the evidence for this, pramana for this, once again, from Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 4th chapter. It's completely, the entire chapter is about Brahma's age. Here they don't talk about it. Of course, they talk about the Chaturyuga. The Chaturyuga, 1000 cycles already, it's 1000 times the Chaturyuga gives you a single day of, that is a kalpa of Brahma. And in this, the universal creation and universal dissolution, it not only applies to India or the world, it applies to the entire universe. Entire universe comes into being and then everything gets annihilated. So this is the pramana for this, because in the same Srimad Bhagavata, which talks about the 5-year yuga in another context, also talks about this kind of lakhs of years of yuga, which is called eon, which is about the days of the deities, not about the human beings. Rama or Krishna were born as a human beings here. So they abided by the rules of the human life only. Their life or whatever, it was just within that, not about this. And the sankalpa we do is in the scale of it. Because it is directed to the deities, we start the sankalpa only in terms of Kali Yuga, Pratame Pade, like that we start. And we are coming to the lowest unit of time, which I said in the beginning of this talk about the Panchanga. Up to that we say that. For this, where is the pramana? Further pramana. Actually, this particular type of yuga is not explained much in any Purana or any Vedic text, whereas it is explained only in astrological siddhantas, because it's all to do with astrology, calculation, everything. It's all about planets, like how you are measuring a cloth with a 1 meter scale or something. Here they are measuring with the help of the planets. For that, the main planet is the sun. It has 43 lakhs and then 20,000 rounds. When it comes to one Chaturyuga. And within this, if you're reading all the other planets, how many times they make the revolutions. And it says when they all are up together, because Yuga is about togetherness. When they are together, something they are linked. When they are all linked together, where they are linked in the Aries. Here I am showing the horoscopic design, which we normally know. So in the beginning of, I'm showing it both, covering both Pisces and Aries. The reason is the conjunction has taken place in this junction. The conjunction of 8 planets. Because the 9th is a Rahu. Either Rahu or Ketu will be together. The other one will be 180 degrees away from that. And so the 8 planets, it's known as the super conjunction. The super conjunction will happen sometime. When it will happen? Once in 4,32,000 years. So when they are joining in Aries, that is in Mesha, the Yuga starts. And then they go in different speeds. Actually, the planets will be going in a linear path in the sky. But this is from the geocentric view. From our point of view, from the Earth, when we are watching how they are going, we are seeing. And this is the beginning of this Yuga, which is available only in astrology text and not in other ones. And it's like this, to show you another picture. They are all joined together, means this is the Earth, all side by side, immediately in the same position. The point is, the last time it happened, this conjunction happened, was when Krishna departed from this world. So normally we think, yes, Kali Yuga started from the time Krishna departed. So what about Dwapara Yuga before that? But when we are looking at the available evidences, particularly in Mahabharata, nobody knew that Krishna departed when he actually departed. At that place in Dwaraka, Arjuna and Daruka was there. Daruka was the charioteer of Krishna. And since Krishna has already instructed them to take care of the old and the meek in Dwaraka, because the Dwaraka is going to be flooded, he and Dwaraka just shifted them all to Saraswati region, Satyaki's people, and then Kritavarman's clan in Matrika, that is in Balochistan and Mehergar. In these 2 places only, the Dwaraka people got settled, and in the middle region, in the Sindhu region, Jayadratha's clan were there. So these entire people only formed what is called the early Harappan culture. They're all post-Mahabharata or post-Dwaraka people, particularly this middle stretches Mahabharata. That is Jayadratha clan. So what happened? It took 7 months for Arjuna to complete this settlement. So until then, nobody knew that Krishna had left. So what does it convey? It conveys that the flood was localized. There was no universal flood at that time. If it was a universal flood, other places would have been affected and people would have known. But this was an isolated incident because the place where Dwarka was there, it was just opposite to Somnath in the water. It was a island only. That place, even today, there is a marine slide underneath, submarine slide happening west of Saurashtra. So it was silently, the entire thing had gone into the water. So nobody knew. The people, even the Dwaraka had gone, nobody knew. So Arjuna took 7 months to settle the people. After 7 months, he came to Hastinapur, but he went straight away to see Vedavyasa and told him that Krishna has departed. So Vyasa himself came to know of departure of Krishna only 7 months after he left. So can you say now then Kali Yuga started at the time of Krishna, they all know already? No possibility. So only later they came to know. Then they have decided, the rishis have talked about themselves. A Krishna, a divinity has left the world. So it would have left some kind of signature. And also they would have observed the planets, the super conjunction. They would have been wondering what happened. Nothing happened. But now they came to know that Krishna has departed. That's a very major sort of a loss for them. And so retrospectively, they worked on the Yuga concept and they finalized it. That is how the present Kali Yuga came. So in this context, you can say the previous Dwapara Yuga was not calculated at all. It's just a mathematical calculation, but not something when these people or those people have lived. Because even Krishna's departure itself was formulated or finalized only after 7 months. And here I am giving the evidence pramana from the Srimad Bhagavata. There, that is the Puravida. It is the last slide you can see. That is in the olden days, the rishis, those people who have a great vidya, they decided, yes, when Krishna left the world, the age of Kali began. That was 3101 BCE as per Gregorian calendar. Now I am just coming to one question, because many people used to, nowadays they are all talking. See, the Yuga cannot be of so much long, particularly Kali Yuga, 4,32,000 years, how we can suffer all those times. And instead, in some of the text, it is given as 12,000 years. So 4 yugas means just 12,000 years. Within the 12,000 years, many, many modern day gurus they're all segregating this 12,000 years into the 4 yugas. Is it true? I'm coming to that question. And this is from Aryabhatiya. Based on this, a small equation I am giving. It says just 1 year. And when you say in the Yuga concept, particularly this lakhs of Yuga concept, when you say 1 year, you take for granted it is 360 solar days only, not 365 or 366. So 1 year multiplied by 30, that is 30 years make 1 Pitru year. Suppose a person is doing Shraddha for his departed ancestor for 30 years. That means that person, that departed person is there, in his land, Pitru land, 1 year had gone. So further it is being said, 12 times the Pitru year is one Deva or Divya or divine year. That means a deity's year. That is the year of the celestial people, the year of the gods. So 12 Pitru years is equal to 1 Deva year, means 360 solar. You can calculate that. 360 solar years is equal to 1 Deva year. Now, using the 360, the Kali Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, all the so far you have all these numbers. You divide each by 360, just 1 Deva year. So you get 1,200, 2,400, all these Deva years. These are given in Mahabharata in 2 or 3 contexts. It is coming there. Even in some of the Puranas, it is mentioned. So they are not talking about solar years or human years. They are talking about Deva years. The grand total is 12,000 Deva years. Converted into solar years, it is 1 Chatur Yuga. Okay. In the same thing, in the same concept, they are talking about Sandhi. Why they should have a Sandhi? See, this 10% Sandhi they have taken. You can see this. In Mahabharata, in other texts also, like Markandeya Rishi also have said, Krita Yuga means 4,000 Deva years. These are all not just human years, not solar years. 4,000 Deva, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 100,000. Like this they have for in terms of Deva years. And for each 10% before and after. Why this 10% Sandhi they should have? That question comes. Probably. These are all measured by planets. And the planetary movements may not be the same throughout the lakhs of years. So you have to give a margin of error. That margin of error is 10%. So before and after. See, based on that, some people say, oh, don't worry, Kali Yuga is only for 1,000 years. Now we are in the Sandhi period, 100. Then once again, Krita Yuga will come. It's not so. This is what they have said in the text is about Divya year, not the common our year. That is for 43 lakhs and 20,000. So many years, and that is up to Kalpa. 1,000 times of it is in Kalpa. So this is about Brahma's time, not our time. And the third type of yuga. Here, I am showing another shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. There you can see, instead of the super conjunction of 8 planets, Moon, Sun, Brahaspati joining Tishya. That is Tishya Brahaspati. Tishya means Pushya Nakshatra. They join Pushya Nakshatra. Naturally, that can happen only in Kataka Rashi. See, you remember very well, in the 5-year yuga, the year started in Uttarayana with Sun and Moon only. Whereas in lakhs of years, that is Brahma's time scale, the super conjunction happened in Aries, Mesha Rasi. Whereas here, it says the Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga will start when Sun, Moon and Jupiter join Pushya in Karkataka. See, this will take just 200 years at the most. So every 200 years, do you think Krita Yuga will come? No. In some other time, when the Krita Yuga has to come, or when Dwapara or even Kali has to manifest, it will have this combination. That's what they meant. Avataras take place only in this yuga scheme, not in the yuga scheme of the one that I explained earlier. Because they further give, in the Puranas, they are further giving the idea for this. See, any yuga has a path. In this path, we have dharma and adharma. The dharma and adharma are being yoked by yuga. And in what way? In Krita Yuga. Always the total part will be 4. That is apportion. Either 4 parts dharma, 0 adharma in Krita Yuga. 3 parts dharma, 1 adharma, Treta. 2 parts dharma, 2 parts adharma. That is Dwapara Yuga. Kali, 1 dharma, 1 part dharma, 3 part adharma. You can see one thing. At no time, the world was bereft of dharma. One amount of 1 part of dharma will be there. Even a person will be very much adharmic, but there must be some kind of dharmic part in him. That is the nature of time. That is the nature of yuga that will make people like that. So this is I also told that avatars take place only in this yuga, because we have the pramana from Krishna himself that he will be born again and again. That is when there is a stress or to dharma. When Sarvadharman Sambhavami Yuge Yuge, he says, Dharma Pradishtabhanarthaya, I will be born again and again, he says. So for establishing dharma, avataras come up. Avataras do not happen in lakhs of dharma, because there is, lakhs of years of yuga, because there is no talk of dharma there. Dharma comes only in this context, where those only 3 planets are starting in Karkataka. So this is a different type of dharma. We have to have that clarity in our mind. This is told in our text itself. So we have to pick out the relevant one and then see what they mean by that. And here I am giving further information about it from Brahmanda Purana. How to know what dharma is running. They are giving 6-part dharma. That is 6 part of yuga. Say the yuga, any yuga. It could be a Krita Yuga. In Krita Yuga, the next part is the difference in the yugas. That is, the difference in the yugas means, I told you in the eon or the long-lasting yuga, the number only keeps increasing. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, number of years. There is no difference. Whereas in this Dharma Yuga, in Krita Yuga, all dharmic. And then in Treta Yuga, 1% adharma comes. This is determined by several factors. One factor only I am telling here because of want of time. In Krita Yuga, Sattvam will be the highest. In Treta Yuga, Sattvic and Rajasic people will be there. Rajasam will be there to some extent. When Rajasa increases, Parashurama got manifest and he killed the Rajasic people. Then in Dwapara Yuga, Rajasa and Tamasa combined together. That is why in Dwapara Yuga, you saw the Svastraharan of the own daughter-in-law. And then in Kali Yuga, only Tamasic will be there. So in this way, the yugas are different, differentiated. And so for each yuga, there will be a yuga dharma. That's a third point. And then there is Yuga Sandhi. In the lakhs of years of yuga, that is in eon, the epoch, we saw 10% error of margin on both sides, before and after a yuga. Here, just one time only, that yuga dharma, it gets reduced. That is a Yuga Sandhi. that is 1/4, it gets reduced. And further, that 1/4 will further get reduced, that is Sandhyamsa. And once that stage is reached, you get what you call Yuga Sandhana, because what is the level of dharma at that time will become the Yuga Dharma of the next Yuga. Suppose this is Krita. Krita Yuga will be gradually declining from Sandhi to Sandhyamsa, and from that next Treta Yuga will occur like this. In this, there is no way to say that the planetary combination, there is no way to say when it will start. It all depends on the nature of the dharma only, and how the nature of the dharma is established by the rule of law. I'm showing the symbol here. It is being told by Kunti and Bhishma in Mahabharata. Only the king determines the yuga, they say. As long as the king is strong, the king follows the rules of law, the rules of chastisement are followed in toto. Nobody will be adharmic. People will be dharmic. So the dharma level can be maintained. So the rule of law only. The rule of law depends on the king. In our times, it depends on the one who rules the country and the judiciary. So as long as the rule of law is there, that yuga dharma, particular yuga dharma can be maintained. If not, it will go off. And here, you may another question. You may ask. See, you all said that some yuga, this different kind of dharma yuga. When will it get manifest? How do we know that it has got manifest? For that also, our Puranas are giving the information. I have underlined the important ones. See, initially in Krita Yuga, there is no rain, nothing. People will be just in the meditative state. They are content with what they have. Whatever they don't have any desires, because nothing is available there. It's like a ice age time. But when the rains have started for the first time, plants start growing and the river starts flowing, and then you do agriculture, you acquire a lot of wealth. When you acquire wealth, naturally you have to safeguard it. You need Kshatriyas, then the Varnashrama Dharma, everything will start only from Treta Yuga. Once again, you remember, this is not in the case of the Eon, which has no such kind of differentiation. These differentiations are happening only here. I'm just showing for whatever I have told. I want to show a map of India. 10,400, this side you see, right side, 10,400 BCE. Until then, our India, particularly the South India, was without any rivers, because all the South Indian rivers are fed by rainwater. There was no rainfall until 10,400. And the Puranas also say only when the rainfall came, Treta Yuga started. So when did the rainfall come? We have, fortunately, one Overpeck et al. Have done a research on the onset of the southwest monsoon for the first time. In 3 stages, it had come up. That is from 11,000 years to 10,500 years BCE. That is the oldest date. Before that, there was no rainfall for tens of thousands of years. So when this came, the Treta Yuga also came. After this only, this heat started spreading everywhere. The Vivaswan, and the person who spoke earlier to me, he talked about this Shaya and Sanya. In that story, it all that comes. Like when the heat starts spreading, the glaciers start melting, and only then Ganga also started coming up. Only after Ganga came into being, Rama was born. So Ganga's birth was in the 2nd stage, almost, scientifically speaking. And I'm giving another example for this from Tiruvalangadu copper plates. Because this particular copper plate inscription, you can easily get online and you can check for yourself also. Why I am giving this is, here the Chola ancestry is given on the right side. Left side, Rama's ancestry, because the Cholas claim ancestry from Rama's lineage only. See here, up to Mandata, the same ancestry only in Chola Tiruvalangadu copper plates, and in Rama also. The Rama's lineage you have taken from Valmiki Ramayana. After Mandata only, the lineage just gets separated. That is the sibling side, they have come up. And here you can see, in Tiruvalangadu copper plates, they said the Krita Yuga ended by some Kirti. And then in the Treta Yuga only, the first Chola, that is, he was Bharata's, Dushyanta's son, Bharata's son was the first Chola Varma, the first Chola. This is told by Veera Rajendra, the son of Rajendra Chola, in Kanyakumari inscriptions. So this is in Treta Yuga. So your Chola dynasty came into Treta Yuga, means why not Rama in Treta Yuga of historical time? Why do you say that Rama was born some 17 lakhs years ago or 10 lakhs years ago? When Cholas were also born in the Treta Yuga and they have the same ancestry with Rama. And see here, another one I have rounded up. Here, Chitradhanvan, he brought Kaveri. Initially, Kaveri was not flowing. Same way, Ganga was not flowing. Bhagirath only brought Ganga. In this copper plate, it's written that Chitradhanva thought, since Bhagiratha has brought Ganga, why not I bring Kaveri also? Let me also bring Kaveri. This is written there. So it's almost around the same period because Kaveri was brought by Agastya. We know that from the stories in Tamil, in Manimegali and all that. But Agastya was a contemporary of Rama. So it's all in the Treta Yuga period, they say. So it's a countable time or a historical time, not lakhs of years ago. And here I have boxed Suraguru. Suraguru is in the Chola dynasty. And I have connected him Nabhaga, who was the great-grandfather of Rama. Why? Because both are same. Nabhaga and Suraguru are same according to our Tamil text. That is Mudumakkal Tari, you would have heard, a huge pot where the elderly or dead people will be buried. You would have heard about Mudumakkal Tari. That's called that huge urn pot. That was first introduced by Nabhaga according to your North Indian literature. And the same Suraguru in Chola also, he only had introduced that. It's not something new to Tamil Nadu alone. So since they both are the same, I have added them like that. So after Suraguru, Vyagraketu, then end of Treta Yuga in Trivalakadu. And then only two people are given in Dwapara Yuga, then end of Dwapara Yuga. Then Kali Yuga, Perenarkilli, Karikala, Pochangana. Why they have given a limited Yuga calculation, which comes within just 10,000 or the Holocene period. The current climatic period is known as Holocene. So within this period only they have given. And this period can be comparable with the Rama's lineage. This is not the only inscription. I mean, there are some three or four inscriptions in Tamil, Tamil Nadu, in Chola dynasty and Pandya dynasty, giving this kind of division. That means this kind of division of Yuga was present, was used by our ancestors very recently. But we have forgotten. We are thinking about this lakhs of years only. And here I am, you may be wondering then, Kochanganan and then Perenarkilli, Karikalan, in that is Kalikala, that is very late. I have given in that Thiruvalangada copper plates. In corroboration of that, we have a shloka in Srimad Bhagavata, where it says, when the Saptarishi constellation passes through from Magha to Purvashada, that is when it enters Magha itself, Kali would have been in full strength, beginning from the Nanda dynasty. See, Nanda dynasty, the Nanda people are in the historical past. Before Mauryas, they come, then so maybe in the around 500, and I have calculated the period from the text itself because the same kind of verse has been given in Brihad Samhita, where the earth was controlled by the king Yudhishthira in his Shakakala of 2526 years. The year has been given. During the year 2526 years, Saptarishis were in Magha. So 2526 Shaka, that is Yudhishthira Shaka, converted into Gregorian date is 575. That is the time of Nanda according to this. Probably, we don't know exactly, historically we have not found out. We don't have evidence for the exact date of Nandas. But they were somewhere around 400 or 500 BCE, only it shows 575. From then onwards only, in the Dharma Yuga scale, Kali Yuga progressed. The Adharma of Kali progressed. And at the same time, the very next verse, Srimad Bhagavata says, those who scientifically understand the past declare that the very day Krishna left, Kali Yuga started. So we have two kinds of verses immediately following each other. In the first verse, it says, when Nandas came into rule, Kali Yuga started. Okay. Then the very next verse, it says, Kali Yuga started when Krishna left. We follow both. We follow this Kali Yuga scale of Krishna's departure from that time onwards for our timekeeping. Because whether you know all the scriptures or not, doesn't matter. You can keep on adding the days. That's all. Like how you are adding the Gregorian years, 2025, 26, 27, 28. Like that, your Kali Yuga is going on. So that you maintain, because we are not so brainy now. Actually, we lost all our knowledge So it's better you be like this. This is from Vyasa. Vyasa has just told us, we just follow this. At the same time, think about dharma. When you are thinking in terms of dharma, when Nandas came into being, the dharma, just adharma started. That is Kali Yuga. Kali Adharma Yuga started. So the pramana is there in that also. So to overcome this, we have to have our rule of chastisement or rule of law. With this, I am concluding my speech, and I am leaving it to the moderator. And thank you very much for having given me this opportunity to talk about this. I hope maybe to complete it within time, I was just going in jet speed. I hope I was able to convey what I wanted to get. Thank you.
Dhanyavadaha Mata. Personally, I feel for most of us, it's entirely a very new session, but it's definitely a good learning session. That is what I would like to say. Visali, anything?
That was a very wonderful presentation, ma'am, about the concept of Yuga and how to calculate what is the Kali Yuga concept, the Chatur Yuga concept. We have few questions in the chat box. So someone has asked, when was the Chatur Yuga conceived?
I already told that. That is after Krishna left. When they came to know 7 months after Krishna left, then only they understood. Yes, that day when Krishna left, there was a super conjunction. So let us have it. From that time onwards, the Kali Yuga, that is calculated. But by then, they have already calculated. See, based on the planetary positions, they have calculated this, the age of Brahma and all that. But they didn't know when it is going to happen and whether it will have any impact on human life. Yes, it had an impact because the divinity left us on that day.
No, actually, what they mean is, say, until Krishna, they were using the 5-year Yuga period.
Even after that. And
so that concept of Chatur Yuga was there in the previous Krishna's time and Rama's time, or it was conceived after the starting of Kali?
Actually, in Rama's time, only Dharma Yuga is mentioned. In Rama, in the first chapter, when Narada speaks to Valmiki, he says, while Rama was ruling the world, there was Krita Yuga everywhere. Right. And then Malyavan, the grandfather of Ravana, told Ravana, wherever Rama goes, there is Krita Yuga. Wherever you are going, there is Kali Yuga, because you are adharmic. So based on dharma and adharma only. Then in Uttarakanda, the Shambhukavada, I don't know whether I talked about it, then Shambhukavada happened because of this dharma, change in the dharma. When the children were dying premature, Rama called all the rishis together and asked them what to do, why it is happening. At that time, Narada told, the Yuga Dharma of Treta Yuga is not followed. What is the Yuga Dharma in that case? Initially, I told about Sattva, Rajasa, and Tamasa, the gunas, Gunas I told you. Here, they are talking about the meditation. In Krita Yuga, only Brahmins will meditate. In Treta Yuga, the Kshatriyas also. And then in Dwapara Yuga, the Vaishyas also will meditate. In Kali Yuga, only the Shudra will meditate. But now somebody is violating that. Go and find out and then eliminate him. Then only the Yuga Dharma of that period can be retained. You may ask what this Shudra and all that is wrong, but it's something of a different type, which I have written in my Ramayana book in detail. The time is not enough to explain that. But it is being mentioned in Ramayana, it is being mentioned in terms of Yuga Dharma, not in other way. But even Mahabharata, it is told in terms of Vedanga Yuga. And then Kautilya also talks in terms of 5-year Yuga. And Lagadha existed 3,500 years ago. Lagadha's, the Rig Jyotisha that we have with us, it can be dated based on the Uttarayana time. It shows 1,500 BCE. Until then, this Vedanga Yuga was in use. As long as Vedic rituals were done in all earnestness, they followed the Vedanga Yuga calendar.
Thank you. So, and what about the Manvantara?
Oh, this in one of the Srimad Bhagavad things it has come up. That is the entire Kalpa, one Kalpa, 14 Manvantaras is mentioned there. But in reality, there is always a big time and small time. Like how for Yugas also we are finding like that. Kali Yuga is so huge. Within that, several times Krita Yuga and the small dharmic scale can come up. Like that, Manvantara is so huge. Because if you take the Vaivasvata Manvantara, when it started, India was not yet born. It was still connected with Africa. Then how can you say Vaivasvata Manvantara, this happened or that happened? You cannot say anything like that. So there is a smaller Manvantara also, which we come to know from some of the text on Skanda, in which it says he was in Chakshusha Manvantara, in Brahmanda Purana, in Vayu Purana, Markandeya Purana. You can read all this. Chakshusha Manvantara is the previous Manvantara. Chakshush, they were able to see only in the Chakshusha Manvantara. They understood, they were Uttana Pada means they were just looking up. The Pada is looking upwards, means they were walking on the sky. They gathered the idea about the sky, the celestial, the Antariksha, everything. So that happened until Skanda's time. After Skanda's time only, our period had started. So that means Skanda's life is just, he lived some 12,000 years ago according to Tamil text. And also there are so many other evidences for that also. So that means the Chakshusha Manvantara existed only 12,000 years ago. Now for the 12,000, 10,000 years, we have this Vaivaswan's time, Vaivasvata Manvantara. And also in the Vivaswan story, Vivaswan is the name of the sun of the current Yuga, the current period, current sun. So it started only after the Ice Age. So there was a smaller Manvantara also. We are passing through a smaller Manvantara. See, all these are just beyond our understanding. They have given some calculation, and what we have to adhere is to the Dharma. That's all.
So one final question, ma'am. So when is this Kali Yuga going to end?
Okay, and it's not a funny question, because as long as you understand it in terms of eons, that is epochs, it will end at the end of the 4,32 years. It's not the question of end. After that, the next one, I don't know how people will be there or whether they will follow all that. Whereas in terms of Dharma, Vishnu Purana says something. It says, see, in Kali Yuga, a lot of adharma is there. And then people started feeling bad about it. Why it's happening? Why I am suffering? Why should I be? Oh, I have to change my ways. I have to be like this. That is why meditation, almost everybody will be meditating in the Kali Yuga. I tell you, that's a final thing. So people start thinking inwardly. They start changing gradually. They become more dharmic. So the level of dharma, as it increases from 1 part to 2 parts, 3 parts, and then 4 parts, Krita Yuga sets in. So from Kali Yuga, Krita Yuga comes. Whereas some modern gurus are saying after Kali Yuga only, then Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, it doesn't go in that way, according to our text. And even Vishnu Purana has given this thing. As you grow better, your Krita Yuga comes. And there is one text called Yuga Purana, you would have known about it. During Patanjali's period, it was written, it's being told. In Yuga Purana, it has been written, the Kali Yuga, I already told you, it depends on the ruler. It depends on the rule of law. So this, it will happen, it will manifest in pockets. And this applies only to India, only to the Bharatadesha. In Bharatadesha, particularly, it has mentioned near Puri, and then near Godavari, and near Kaveri. In these regions, Kali will manifest. In North India, it will not manifest at all. The time period is not given, because the time period, it was not given at all at any time. It all depends on people's mentality and the ruler's mentality. But in pockets, it can happen. And just I'll give one example about it. You know about Pulikeshin. Pulikeshin, in his Aihole inscription, Bharata Daha Avaditaha, you have written. That is from the time of Bharata. That people are very confused. Bharata means whether Mahabharata, Bharata, the Pandavas time. But the counting shows it is starting from the Kali Yuga only. Similarly, Aryabhatta, he says Bharatat Purvam, you would have written in that. What is Bharatat Purvam? He doesn't say Kali Yugat Purvam, because both Pulikeshin and Aryabhatiya lived within some 100 or 200 years gap. Okay. At that time, they had a feeling, yeah, we are very dharmic, we are in a very straightforward way. We don't have Kali, we have stopped Kali. Like how Parikshit said, Kali, don't come inside, I'll stop you. So that kind of Kali or dharma-based Kali can be stopped, can be changed, can be subdued. So whenever that happens, we won't have Kali. In Parikshit period, even though the Kali Yuga has set in, because Krishna has left, he was able to stop it. And he has given us the idea also. 5 places, he says, where Kali stays. If we avoid those 5, definitely Kali will not be there. So it is not dependent on at what time or any calculation. It depends on those 5 which we have to abstain from.
Wonderful, wonderful explanation. Thank you so much, ma'am. And to all the esteemed audience, we can have a separate session for discussion with ma'am, or you can post your questions in the group. Ma'am will answer those questions through voice message. which I can share with you. Because of lack of time, we
Yes,
are
Dr.
going with
Venkata.
a vote of thanks. And
Okay.
I will leave
Thank
it to
you.
Ankur. Thank you. Thank you
My
so much,
sincere
ma'am.
thanks
It's
to
a
you.
pleasure to have you in our program. It's wonderful. Lot of information we came to know. And I think the members will also be having a lot of questions to ask you. We will have it only separately.
Please send the questions. I will answer them. I am very happy to get this chance. I am very thankful to you all. Thank you very much.
Dhanyawadaha, Jayashree Mata. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. Thank you. धन्यवाद विज्ञापन प्रस्तुत करेंगे श्रीमती गीता मुत्तुस्वामी, प्रोफेशनली क्वालिफाइड होम्योपैथी डॉक्टर, enthusiastic member and contributor of Pride of Bharat Heritage. She had given speech on women's welfare, health and hygiene, self-confidence, self-improvement in All India Radio. She has wide knowledge in all subjects. Swagatam Mata, Geetha Ma.
सर्वेषां शुभसन्ध्या। अधुना धन्यवादमतस्य समये अस्ति। अहं प्रथमं मम स्नेहपूर्णभगिनीभ्यः क्रमशः श्रीमती मातङ्गी सुरेश तथा श्रीमती विशाली कृष्णन् इत्येतौ धन्यवादं ददामि। यत् अद्भुतं लङ्घनं कृत्वा तथा स्नेहपूर्णस्वागतसम्बोधनं प्रदत्तम्। अद्भुत सार्थक सुभाषितानां कृते श्रीरामकृष्ण महोदयस्य धन्यवादः। गीता शिक्षणार्थं डॉक्टर सुश्रुता जी धन्यवादः। नरसिंह पुराण व्याख्यान कृते डॉक्टर अभिनव किडाम्बी महोदयस्य धन्यवादः। I thank our Swetha Venkat. तस्याः श्लोक जाप उत्तम आसीत्। Wonderful it was. अमृतवर्षिणीना निजमले अमृतवर्षिणीया पुळिञ्जिद्। अस्माकं विशेष अतिथिवक्ता श्रीमती जयन्ती सारनाथन् तस्याः अद्भुत भाषणस्य कृते अहं गगनतया धन्यवादं ददामि। It was very wonderful. So எங்களுடைய limited knowledge-க்கு சிலது எங்களுக்கு புரியல, but we will come back to you asking questions. கொஞ்சம் விஷாலிஜி மாதிரி அஸ்ட்ராலஜியில எக்ஸ்பர்ட்ஸ்க்கு நல்லா தெரிஞ்சிருக்குமா இருக்கும். எங்களை மாதிரி கொஞ்சம் சந்தேகங்கள் இருக்கு. We'll come back to you. And अस्माकं भ्रातः श्री शिवकुमार अय्यर तस्मै शान्ति मन्त्रस्य कृते धन्यवादः. I thank all the viewers who have joined today and graced the meeting. Thank you one and all. Shubharatri.
Dhanyawadaha Geetha for the wonderful vote of thanks. Thank you as always. Swagatam Sivakumar ji for Shanti Mantra.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नमस्कारः।
धन्यवादः महोदय। वयं कार्यक्रमः समाप्तं कुर्मः। सर्वेषां धन्यवादः। शुभरात्रि।